Coming up tonight on YCN News, Vermont Governor Peter Shumlin tours Chester to view road and related damage from Monday's rainstorm. Investigators in Vermont look into who might have intentionally set fire to a home in Royalton. And the U.S. Senate approves the nomination of Robert McDonald as new Secretary of Veterans Affairs. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, and welcome to this Wednesday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Vermont Governor Peter Shumlin toured Chester today to view road and related damage from Monday's rainstorm. The governor met briefly with residents and town officials before taking a tour of the damage. Flooding and road damage in this area of Windsor County are the results of the Monday rainstorm. YCN will bring you more of this story as it develops, especially if the state is able to offer financial help to Chester and Andover for damage recovery. Further south in Vermont's Windham County, applications are now being accepted for the Windham County Economic Development Fund. If you have an idea to help Windham County's economy, now's the time to let it be known. The Windham County Economic Development Fund seeks applications outlining this idea from municipalities, nonprofit groups, and government entities. Earlier, an agreement between the state and nuclear power plant Vermont Yankee Owners Energy of Louisiana set up the fund, a fund of $10 million. As the plant is set to close later this year and then gradually be decommissioned, regional leaders knew this southern Vermont county needed financial help to cushion the economic blow. Funding will be spread out over the next 5 years. The first $2 million is now available by application. Applications are due September 23rd and will be reviewed by the Vermont Economic Development Authority, known as VEDA. This panel has in place the skills and knowledge to develop lending and alternative financing programs for approved applications. To learn more, go online to gowindham.vermont.gov. The Vermont State Agency of Commerce and Community Development, now led by Secretary Pat Moulton, will host workshops in the region for prospective applicants. Specific dates and locations of these workshops will be posted on the gowindham.vermont.gov website. Following a week-long conference at Dartmouth College addressing the rise in sexual assaults on college campuses nationwide, a group of U.S. senators is getting involved. Earlier this year, the Federal Department of Justice cited 55 colleges and universities across America for not following its rules under the Clary Act. Named in honor of female student Jean Clary, who was raped and murdered in 1986 by a college classmate, the act requires timely and honest reporting of all sexual assaults on campus. Today, U.S. Senator from New Hampshire and Republican Kelly Ayotte joined 7 other GOP and Democratic Senate colleagues in announcing legislation to reduce campus sexual assaults. YCN News will bring you a follow-up story on the legislation. Talk of road work continues in Washington, a discussion that regional lawmakers may hope does not lead to gridlock. That's because there is still no word yet if the Federal Highway Trust Fund will be funded to complete road projects across the country. Today, U.S. Senator from New Hampshire, Democrat Jeanne Shaheen, announces she voted with a majority of Senate colleagues to replenish the fund so road and bridge repairs can continue. As is the case in other states, investments to repair New Hampshire's network of roads and related infrastructure is critical to building a strong economy. Until the state hears more about funding, New Hampshire Department of Transportation Public Information Officer Bill Boynton says future projects will not go out to bid. Projects underway will continue, he says. Investigators in Vermont are looking into who might have intentionally set fire to a home in Royalton. Firefighters responded to an early morning fire yesterday at 1249 Mill Road in Royalton. Homeowners Scott and Marcy Leframboise were not injured during the fire, called in to first responders at 2:13 a.m. One of them extinguished the flames, yet the home suffered minor damage, state police report. Damages are estimated to be about $1,000. Anyone with information about the fire is asked to call the arson tip line at 1-800-32-ARSON. There is up to a $5,000 reward for information resulting in an arrest, or call the Vermont State Police at its Rockingham Barracks at 802-875-2112. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. The U.S. Senate approved the nomination of Robert McDonald as new Secretary of Veterans Affairs. McDonald comes to the department as a graduate of West Point, a military veteran and business leader, most recently as head of Procter & Gamble. Members of the Vermont and New Hampshire congressional delegation in separate announcements welcomed McDonald to the position. McDonald was nominated to the post by President Barack Obama, following the resignation of Eric Shinseki. Delays in getting veterans medical appointments and keeping accurate records led Congress to condemn what it sees as a flawed and overburdened VA healthcare system. Also yesterday, Vermont U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and other lawmakers announced a $17 billion spending plan to correct these issues. Another moment in New Hampshire's history is being honored, this time along Route 4 in Mascoma. Look for a new marker at the intersection of Route 4 and the Mascoma River in Enfield. The dark green marker cites the village's origins, including work generations ago by its Shaker community. Downtown Enfield Village, earlier called North Enfield, grew around mills powered by the Mascoma River. In the 1840s, railroad service and economic investment by the Enfield Shakers laid the foundation for the village's growth. For the next 100 years, the village prospered. The village's connection with the Shaker community is part of the state's cultural and economic history. In 2010, Enfield Village joined other sites listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Now, the downtown Enfield Village marker is the 241st installed through the state's Historical Highway Marker Program. This program began in 1958. Even if you can't get around all of New Hampshire, you can view the highway markers and learn more about the state's history. An interactive map of all these markers is available at the New Hampshire Division of Historical Resources website, www.nh.gov/NHDPR. The New Hampshire Historical Highway Marker Program is jointly managed by the state's Division of Historical Resources and its Department of Transportation. Also in Enfield, the focus will be on keeping children safe who ride through the town on two wheels. A bicycle safety clinic will be held beginning at 8 a.m. and running to noon on Saturday. The clinic is sponsored by the town's police department. The clinic's location will be at La Salette Shrine at 410 Route 4A. To learn more, contact Detective Sergeant Ken May by email at kmay@enfield.nh.us. Everyone deserves a place to call home, pets included. Let's learn more about this week's Pet of the Week choice.
Welcome to YCN's Pet of the Week, brought to you by Achille Agway with 6 locations including Walpole, New Hampshire and Healthwise Pet Food. Nutrition first for the love of your pet. Cuddles is a black 4-year-old male that couldn't move with his owner. He has settled into one of our community rooms. He gets along with the other cats but readily wants attention from anyone that comes near. When he's out of the community room, he'll follow volunteers around just for affection. He did live with a dog previously. Cuddles, his name says it all, and his new owner will get a sweet cat. Daisy comes in a compact package of white fur with black patches. She's approximately 2 years old and does love to play. She will bat a little ball around and has been seen carrying it around in her mouth. When she's tired herself out, she likes to stretch out on a bench in her room and take a nap. She's become more and more friendly in our community room. For pet adoption, call River Valley Animal Protection League in Charlestown, 826-3061.
Coming home to a pet is a great part of any day. On another community note, save the date for the annual indoor yard sale at St. Mary's Gym in Claremont. The sale is set for 8 to 2 p.m. on Saturday, September 6th. Proceeds will benefit St. Mary's Parish. Some items are more welcome for donation than others. For instance, please do not bring typewriters or old computers for sale. Donations can be brought to the gym beginning the week of August 18th. Contact Norma Limoges at 603-542-2916 for additional information. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tonight we'll have cloudy skies with a low of 54 degrees. Tomorrow we have a 70% chance of precipitation with showers expected before 1 p.m. and possible thunderstorms before 5 p.m. Skies will be mostly cloudy with highs in the 70s and winds up to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow night we have a 30% chance of rain before 7 p.m. with lows in the mid-50s. Friday will be mostly sunny with a 30% chance of showers and a high of 80 degrees. Friday night will be mostly cloudy with lows in the 60s. You can see some clouds headed our way as well as some storms expected on Thursday. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow in Walpole, New Hampshire, the Select Board is meeting at 6 p.m. The Lebanon Opera House will host the Dueling Pianos at 7 p.m. In Putney, Vermont, the Yellow Barn concert will begin at 8 p.m. in the Big Barn. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Now let's look at the results from last night's Fisher Cats game in Binghamton. The Fisher Cats suffered a loss, but the game was close. The final score was 4-3. The Fisher Cats scored first when player Andy Burns hits a fly ball to right field while John Birdie completes a run. In the top of the fourth, Corey Aldridge homers, causing 2 outs for their opponent. The last point was another effort by Burns and Birdie, in a similar play from the first point. Tomorrow is the last game in the series against Binghamton. The away game is slated to begin at 6:35 p.m.